discussion board. It's not.
Is it crunch time for Mekhi Becton? Is it crunch time for Denzel Mims? Is the 2020 draft class on the line for judgment for Joe Douglas? Is this what's going to define him as a GM? Is this it? Is this what it is? Does it all come down to this? Find out right after this.
I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold? Or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who could potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today, you can't get rid of him.
Right, it's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.
What is up, Jets fans? Let's see who's here already. We've already been having a conversation. Salty Nulty was the first one in the house, ready to go. Sean McAteer, my man, my main man, already excited to talk about the topic of this. So Dark Soldier is here, as always. Jets Fan United, my man, the computer wizard, the computer genius, is in the house. And Friggle D, what's up, my friend? Are you watching from work? I have to know. Friggle D is famous for watching from work. I forget what you do, but I think it's funny that you're at work watching. It's cool. It's all good, man. Anyway, you saw by the title, I noticed an article in the New York Post that said, is raw power? What's up, man? So I noticed an article in the Post basically posing the question. I mean, this is what the sports beat has to do. I mean, I don't blame them. I'm in the same boat as them. When there's no news and nothing going on, this is what we have to talk about. These are the things we have to think about. And we go back to Denzel Mims. It always comes down to Mims and Becton with the Jets, doesn't it? There's such an obsession with these two players. You're driving home from work. Well, drive safe, Friggle. Don't let anything I say upset you and make you speed and end up crashing into a tree or anything like that. Hi, Leah. So anyway, everybody wants to talk about Becton. Everyone wants to talk about Denzel Mims when there's nothing else to talk about. Let's break it down one player at a time. Okay? Let's start with Becton. Becton is the ridiculous one to me. The ridiculous, and when I say ridiculous that people even questioned whether he was a good draft pick or not. It makes no sense. This guy came onto the team in 2020 in his first season, and during the season was establishing himself as a home run pick. And we're not even talking about like he was Neal or somebody, who could have went first, second, or third in the draft. He's not a guy that we picked in the top 5. We're talking about a guy that we picked with the 11th pick. And he was playing like at the level where you'd be happy even if he was the number 5 pick or the number 4 pick. It was a home run pick. The guy was playing well. He was pancaking people in the run game. Now, don't forget, he just came in at left tackle. So this is not a position where you have to come in and be the best in the league just because you were the 11th pick of the draft. That's ridiculous. He came in and he was playing like a top 10 pick easily. He was pancaking people. He was a great run blocker. Obviously, being a rookie, he wasn't going to have a perfect spot record in pressures and sacks allowed, but that's okay. He was a rookie. Then we go into year 2. We go into camp, and I know people were freaking out because Carl Lawson was absolutely going off on him. But does anyone really think that Carl Lawson wasn't going to go off on anyone? He came in, he was hyped up. He looked like he was going to be the man. And he was having a great camp. And you know what? Practice is practice. Camp is camp. It doesn't mean Becton was going to be horrible. And the Jets offensive line came out in 2021 and looked awful. And the reason they looked awful is because they were executing or doing a new system. And they were confused and nobody was in the right spot. And people weren't picking up the blocks and they weren't doing well. So it was the first half together. New coach, new offensive coordinator, tons of kids, AVT, rookie player, right? I mean, Becton only in his second year, but already having to do a new system, was kind of banged up. He had the foot plantasis or whatever the hell they want to call it. So it was okay that they were struggling in the beginning. And it wasn't like they were going up against a weak or soft defensive line. They were going up against a very tough defensive line and a very tough defense against Carolina, which is where I happen to be right now. And Becton, unfortunately, to no fault of his own, had a teammate who got thrown and tossed like a rag doll. I don't know where that expression came from. Maybe lots of kids, when they're holding their little rag doll, like to throw it across the room. And that's what it reminded people of when Van Rotten went flying across the field on the line and happened to land on Becton's knee. And this caused injury to him. Now, people were upset by that for some reason. They were acting like it was Becton's fault. I don't understand that. They were saying he's injury prone. I don't know many people, if they had a 300-pound person thrown onto their knee at a bad angle, wouldn't have been hurt. But anyway, that's the way some fans are. And they were upset with Becton. Now, I understand they said 4 to 8 weeks as the timetable for the injury. If you want to be mad at somebody that he didn't come back the rest of the year, be mad at the people who gave you that fake, or not fake, but that wrong, incorrect estimation of when he'd come back. They were the ones that weren't able to decide or see that a 350-pound man, and they could argue all over his weight, 380 pounds, if you want to listen to Connor the Schmanner or whatever you want to call him, the Putz I call him. It didn't matter. Okay. It doesn't, I mean, when you're a big man like that, it's very hard to predict or know how long you're going to be out with an injury. Doesn't mean he's lazy. He was doing everything he could to get better. He wanted to play. He didn't do anything wrong. It didn't heal as fast as expected or as fast as anybody wanted it to heal. So Becton didn't do anything wrong. He's a guy who looked like he was going to be a future Pro Bowl staple left tackle for us for the next 10 to whatever years. It was a beautiful pick, and we had bad luck, and he had bad luck. Then we heard all kinds of rumors and nonsense and everything, nothing substantiated, just opinions of, again, mostly Connor, right? Remember, this is a little Weasley guy, a guy who attacked Becton for not going to voluntary minicamp because his girlfriend was pregnant, knowing no details of her pregnancy, whether there's a chance the baby can come premature, whatever. Also not realizing that Becton wouldn't have done anything different in camp than he was doing in Texas with his trainer, because he's still building up strength in his knee and building up strength and getting back in playing shape. He's working with a nutritionist. He's getting ready. He didn't stop doing that. He just didn't want to leave the state and miss his baby being born. There's no story here. There are many teams where 30-40% of the players don't show up to voluntary camp, by the way. It's not uncommon. It's never been a big deal. So there was nothing that he did wrong at all. Therefore, when people say it's crunch time and it's time that we have to judge Becton and what kind of pick he was, I just think it's nonsense. Obviously, if he comes back healthy and he doesn't play well, that would be really bad news, and we'd have to figure out why. Now, he might not play well the first 3 games because, remember, he didn't have a season in the system. So there might be some lag time. There might be, especially playing next to players who just played it, right? He might not look, he has AVT's in his second year with the system. Lincoln Tomlinson is very seasoned with the system. George Fant, had a full year of it and excelled in it. It obviously was great for his skill set. So Becton might not be the strongest offensive lineman on the team right when the season starts. So don't jump the gun. Don't game one decide what kind of season he's going to have. Let's give the guy time to settle in. As long as he improves every week, as long as he steadily improves, we're fine. It's just about where is he going to end up? How is he going to finish? Is he going to, by game 5, game 6, are you going to start to see the old Becton again? Is he going to start pounding people, putting people on the ground? Maybe he does it week 1. That's what we're hoping for. But we don't have to sit there and worry about it and judge him and be so critical. Let's just wait and see who he is. He's a guy who got hurt. He's a young man who has a great future, has great potential. He showed that potential on the field. He had a bad injury. He looks great now, and he's coming back. He has a chip on his shoulder, which I love. I love it when players have a chip on their shoulder. And we're going to see what kind of guy he is. And it's like, it's so overblown to sit there and talk about it and to say this is the crunch year. And the other thing that's annoying and irritating is that somehow people think this has anything to do with Joe Douglas. Give me a break. Nobody was questioning this pick when he was playing amazing left tackle, when he was doing awesome, when he was looking like a potential Pro Bowler. No one was complaining. Then he has a bad camp and gets hurt in the first game, and all of a sudden Joe Douglas doesn't know how to run a draft. All of a sudden it's his fault. It's also just a question of he didn't there was no part of him that wasn't projected. Like there's no part of Joe Douglas that did anything wrong that wasn't picking a guy who a lot of other people would have picked. And also, he didn't even have full pick. We don't even know how much say he had in the pick because he wasn't in complete charge. Now, Salty Nulty wants to know why I'm bringing this up. I'm bringing this up because, and I explained this in the beginning of the show, if you were here, Salty Nulty, and you didn't miss my first 5 minutes, I said that there was no news. And if you look and you Google the Jets right now, you'll see that the number one article is this the year we judge the 2020 draft? Is it crunch time for Becton and for Mims? So that's why we're talking about it. We're talking about it because that's what the media is talking about. And that's what they keep going back to. And that's the whole point, that the fact that we have to have this conversation over and over again, and how ridiculous it is that we have to have this conversation over and over again. But what I'm here to say is I'm not worried about Becton at all. I'm just excited to have him back on the field because I want him to resume the amazing career that it looks like he's going to have. I want to see that happen. That's the point. And that's people are trying to create trauma and trying to create stories. And I'm just here to say, I'm not worried about it. Be happy that Becton's on the field. If there's anything to worry about, let's worry about him staying healthy. That's the nerve-wracking thing when someone gets hurt, right? Let's hope his knee doesn't, first time it has real contact, his knee doesn't get out of whack again and we lose him again. That's the fear when somebody gets injured and comes back. By the way, I want to welcome some people who have joined the conversation since we started. Jets Mess, what's up, my friend? Iowa Jets fan, what's up? My favorite butthole, Iowa Jets fan is here. Dark Soldier, we already mentioned you, but you're always worth mentioning again. J. Cole was here. J. Cole, all the way out in Patchogue, Long Island. He's here. And Salty Nulty finally came back and decided to join and criticize like he usually does, but that's okay. Daniel Faust, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to that day, although the last 2 or 3 days have been very, very strange as far as subs go. Up, and then down. Up, then down. But it seems to be 3 steps forward, 1 step back. I have no idea what's going on. You'd have to call the people at YouTube to explain it, but it's been an interesting 3 days. What's up, Nathan? Good to see you. Larry Turkin in the house. Yeah, and Larry's very big on that. It matters what Zach does. But understand that I agree that Becton isn't a problem, but, Zach's performance is what matters. But his performance is dependent on his offensive line to an extent. If they're giving him 2 seconds like they did last year, it's going to be hard for us to really understand what Zach has. It'd be nice if he makes less mistakes and is smarter in a situation like that, which he could improve on, and I think he did towards the end of the year. But let's hope that they give him more time and we see what Zach Wilson can do in a different situation when he has just more time. Rest in peace, Bob Talamini. I'm going to be very honest here and say I don't know who Bob Talamini is. So if somebody wants to share that, I'm imagining it's a former Jet or somebody that has to do, or somebody involved in the NFL. So let me know. But I agree with the sentiment for anyone. So thank you, Sean, for sharing that, and may he rest in peace. Bryant Sill. Howdy. What's up, Bryant? It's good to see you. I think that J. Cole is saying that Bruce Hall will be our Najee Harris. I hope he's better, to be honest. But I'm with you, man. I'm not going to complain. He gets 1,000 yards, I'll be really happy. Salty Dalty. First time I'm late. Easy. What are you on crack? Just in case, just so you know, I'm very honest about why I do things and what I'm doing. The reason I'm doing those shorts now, and you'll see a lot of them, and they'll all be hyped up and crazy, is I'm taking the advice of someone. And those little shorts that you do, there's a reason. There's a reason behind it. So when you take these training videos and how to build a YouTube channel, and you talk to people who know about it, and you get into the specifics of it, apparently, one of the ways to make YouTube happy, and that's a big goal, is you have to make them happy because they have the power. They create the algorithms of how many people see your content and everything. One of the ways they want to be made happy is they want to compete with Twitter, and they want to compete with Facebook Shorts, and they want to compete with all those other technologies. And one of the ways to do that is to get people to put short little videos on YouTube. So apparently there's a possibility they will reward my channel if I do that. And they're supposed to be high energy and fun. So you're going to get to see the chaos in those short videos. So look out for them. There'll be a lot more coming. Let's see. I see somebody saying something football related, which is amazing on this channel. Football related on this channel. I really think it's funny that John Nolte always is the one to remind me that J. Cole does not live in Patchogue. And I don't know how that got into my head or why I think originally at some point that he did. But I'm not going to, I take a sick, weird pleasure in saying it, whether it's true or not. Disregard Papa, thoughts on AVT. What's up, Disregard Papa? I'm going to get on to AVT. Although he's not the 2020 draft class, I'll definitely talk about AVT. You know what? I was going to talk about Mims first, but I think we could talk about AVT right now because it seems to be popular with you guys. And as always, you guys really are the ones that drive the show. Offensive lineman from the Super Bowl team. Okay. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame. How old was he? Hopefully he lived a long life and everything. But that's a shame. It's too bad. I got to learn those names of these old players, these old timers. Anyway, what do I think of AVT? Wait a second. This is kind of cool. You represent the 10,000 BYU fans following Zach's New York. That's awesome. Zach's going to be amazing, Daniel. I don't regret the Jets picking Zach Wilson, even the tiniest bit. I'm thrilled with the choice when they made it. I'm thrilled with the choice right now. I love everything the kid has shown. And I know he's going to get better and grow and be our franchise quarterback. AVT is a guy who got better throughout the year. It was perfect. Like he had, to me, the perfect rookie season. It's like textbook. He didn't start out bad. Like he wasn't a bad offensive lineman. But he certainly wasn't the star. People like to imagine that guys are going to step right into the position and just be amazing when they're a high draft pick. But it's very, very common for rookies to start their career and not be superstars game one. They have to learn the speed of the league, the strength of the league. They have to adjust. So I think that AVT, the reason it was like storybook to me was because he got better every week. And by the end of the year, he was starting to make plays and tackles. And like if you watch the instant replays of some of the plays, he was really starting to manhandle a lot of the players on the other team, which was really fun to watch. So lucky I muted that so you didn't have to hear that ugly coughing. But anyway, I think that AVT is going to be a Pro Bowl guard. I don't know that he's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. And it wouldn't be the end of the world if he isn't. It's okay for it to take 3 years. This could be just a year he's really good, but he doesn't get the respect of the other players in the league. He just doesn't get noticed and will know. But that's not what is important to me anyway. It's just how he plays, right? I mean, as long as he plays well, as long as he does his job, pops some holes for our running game, protects Zach, don't allow pressures, help, play within the system, help make our overall line successful, I think that will be fine. But I'm very excited about AVT. I think that, again, that's another pick, no regrets. Wouldn't change anything if I could do it over again. Or if JD did it over again and I had the power to change it, I wouldn't. I'm very happy that AVT is on our team. I asked Cole. He said he doesn't live in Patchogue. But why, Nolte? Oh, because do you live in Patchogue, Nolte? So are you confirming that he doesn't live there because you live there? And if he did live there, you'd want more information? Oh, cheese doodles. Well, the real question about cheese doodles is, do you like the soft, puffy ones, or do you like the crunchy Cheeto ones? Cheers, boys. It's a beer o'clock over here. How long do you think it's going to take our starting line to gel? So it is, let's see, 2:52 in the PM there. 2:52. That's beer time there. It's Monday at 2:52. How is that beer o'clock? You're gonna have to. I'll have to explain that one to me. Oh yeah, that's right. You used to live in Patchogue, and now you live in Florida. Hell of a change. Let's see. Our O-line is going to be dominant. We really have no reason why we can't get 10 wins. Well, that's why I've been saying it. There's only one little thing, and John Nolte will be the first to say it. Sean, in our little theory and our little optimism, and that is guys get hurt. I don't know why I put Nolte in that position, but it sounds like something Nolte would say. And what Nolte would say is, who's our backup? What if Becton gets hurt again? What if Fant isn't as good? What happens if something like that happens? Then what happens to our offensive line? But if they're healthy, it's hard to, on paper, it really looks like a top 10, if not top 8 offensive line on paper. It really does. Especially if you know the potential of Becton, if you understand, the direction he was heading before his injury, how good he looked his rookie year. It's really hard to imagine that they wouldn't be, a top offensive line in the NFL. They're really good players, and it's a good system once your players learn it. And when you think about the tight ends, don't forget that's important for the running game when you add tight ends who can block. We significantly upgraded our tight end room, and that's not just for pass receptions, but for run blocking and for running plays. It's a tremendous difference. And adding Breece Hall, the Michael Carter, I mean, it can completely be a different running game than it was last year. And last year it had its moments, but it could be one of the better running games in the NFL if the offensive line stays healthy. Which just we don't even have to. Everything affects everything else. Then all of a sudden you got play action, totally different situation than it was for Zach last year. I mean, you scare them with the running game, you create play action opportunities. Totally different situation. And honestly, I think that Zach was built for pass, for that type of situation, for play action. I really do. Thank God for the mute button because I'm having a cough attack. No, it's not COVID. Public holiday in New Zealand. You guys have public holidays? So everybody, guess what? They have public holidays in New Zealand. That's cool. Maybe, well, we should have you on, Braden. You should have came on and explained the holiday, told us all about it. There's daylight in New Zealand, so therefore it's beer o'clock. Nice island. Maybe it's wine o'clock. Maybe it's time to have Iowan wine. It's a beautiful, rich orange-colored wine. Some people call it orange. That's a nice way to say it. Some people might call it rust-colored. But hey, I've been positive for 2 months. Hey, I'm not saying you're negative, man. That's realism. It's not even being negative. It's like if you're going to call our offensive line dominant, healthy it is, but unhealthy it's not. I'm very big on I don't want any holes in our offensive line. So if one of the tackles go down, who we bringing in, guys? Right now, who is it? Who is it that comes in? Is it the rookie, Max Mitchell? Is it Connor McDermott? Who is it? Who do you feel comfortable with that's going to come in and play offensive tackle? What is it, Zuniga? I'm sorry, I'm not like just filled with confidence if one of those guys gets hurt. So it is a concern. I love this. You got to be on them Rick James drives not to agree. Oh man, Fan had a knee scoped. I heard he's gonna be fine for mandatory camp though, at the end of the month. At least that's what I heard. A knee scope is not a big deal as long as nothing was wrong and it was what they thought it was and everything went cleanly and well. He should be fine. So I wouldn't panic about that. That Fans United, the only thing would be Lakin, the glue to make sure Becton is up on par with communication with the other guys. And I think that's a great point, though, that Tomlinson was such a good pickup for a few different reasons. First of all, just his overall skill and what a great player he is. 2 is that he was a great player in the exact system, same language, same everything, same coaching staff. And 3, leadership. The fact that he's the perfect guy to have with AVT and with Becton, the addition of Lincoln is going to mean so much. It's going to really be significant. I think that it fits into the personalities of Becton and AVT and what they were projecting on being. I think they're going to be very violent players, very nasty players, and exactly what we need on our offensive line. It's definitely the type of tone that we need that we haven't had in a long time on this team in any room. And that's one of the things I love about the way we've built around the trenches on both sides of the ball is that not only have we added talent, but we've added nastiness. And that's just so important in the NFL because that's where the nastiness has to be. It has to be in the trenches. That's where the war is fought. I'm looking really, really forward to both offense and defense watching our lines play. And I really think that's going to be the core. Like that's really going to be the big difference. And it doesn't mean I'm not taking away any of the importance of Zach Wilson. I'm just saying that offensively, it's going to mean a lot and have a tremendous impact on Zach Wilson's ability to grow and excel. On defense, I think it's going to make a difference for the linebackers more than any position to have really good, dominant defensive line play. I think that might make it a lot easier for the linebackers, and that's why you might not see the urgency that we all expected in changing and making additions to the linebacker room. I think it might be more than anything just the confidence and the understanding that we really need to improve the defensive line, and that's going to make it a lot easier for the linebacker room. And let's hope we're right, because it seems a little strange that we didn't address that situation at linebacker at all. Oh, okay. You guys are talking to each other. I'm hoping our O-line will be ready to go week 1, but with all the shuffling of new positions, I wondered what you thought. I think that it could be definitely, like one of the reasons I predicted, even though we're going to predicted 10 games in a video I did with my brother, my prediction video, I still had the Jets losing to Baltimore. Now that doesn't mean I think that they're definitely going to lose to Baltimore, but out of the 7 games I thought we could lose, the reason I thought it's not that I don't think we're capable of beating Baltimore. I don't think Baltimore is some unbeatable machine. I think they have a very good franchise. I think they're always very tough. I think they're very well coached. Obviously, they have an extremely talented quarterback in certain situations. He does have certain question marks right now, but overall, I mean, come on. Lamar Jackson is overall in the past 3 or 4 years been very special. I just think that the issue with that and the concern I have with week 1 is having to start. It's not a great matchup for us week 1 because of the new positions, because we have a lot of rookies, because we have a lot of new players. One of the biggest challenges is, like for me, would be the last team I'd want to see week 1 is a very unified, well-coached team. And Baltimore is like just always really well coached. They're always really solid. They're like a real teams kind of team. So it's not about just player matchups and how many stars they have and if we can stand up and compete with them. And from that sense, my concern just is that they're so well coached and they've been like in the system for so long, the same consistent coach for so long, quarterback for so long. They really have like kind of a good situation. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I'm getting information from my wife. What was I saying? I was talking about something important. I think that Baltimore is going to be a very challenging game, and I am very, very concerned. The only thing I can hope is that our offensive line will have a very healthy, full camp where there's like last year. Don't forget, AVT missed a lot. I don't think Becton and AVT played together at all, except for the first 5 minutes of the first quarter last year. So I think what could work in our favor and fix this, the best thing that could happen to us in this situation is we have a situation where everybody stays healthy in camp and they get a lot of experience together. I'm not worried about Laken Tomlinson, regardless of which side he plays, and I know they're going to put him in his comfortable side. I'm really not that worried about AVT. I think he might not excel as fast as he would. There might be a few games where he has to readjust, possibly, but I don't think he'll be bad. I think he just won't be as good, and it might slow him down a few weeks in his overall development. And I'm not worried about McGovern, obviously, because he's staying at his same position. And then if Fant moves, I think that it's exaggerated that they say Fant is better on the left side. I don't think he had a chance to play on the right side in this system, and I think he was going to prove that he was going to be very good either way. So I'm not buying the Fant is better on the left side. I think in this system we only saw him on the left side, and I think he'll be fine on the right side. But look, Braden, it's a good question. I am concerned about the first couple of weeks. I'm concerned about the fact that we're going against some tough teams, and it's not like we didn't add and change and make a lot of changes again. Just like the first year, I think it's not as bad as the first year where it's all rookies and a new system. But I do think there's still challenges, and we still have to give some time for this team to gel as a complete team, as a full 53-man roster. But I do think we have a lot more talent now, and there is a chance we're going to come out and win that game against Baltimore. Just a little nervous about it. Grandizer, I'm doing good. It's good to see you here, man. My brother and sister-in-law say hi. That's very nice. It's Hobbit Day. Is it Hobbit Day? Oh, yeah. In New Zealand, it's Hobbit Day. Iowan, did I say anything bad to you? And you wonder why I haven't sent you anything. What did I do? What did I say? Oh, because I made fun of the wine. Okay. It's the interior. The defensive line interior. I don't know. It can go one way or the other because here's the thing about the defensive interior. I know that Quinnen Williams hasn't lived up to the expectation of his pick in some people's minds because he was picked so high, but he's still a darn good player. And John Franklin Myers, if he's moved to the middle, that's significant talent. I think he's a much better interior player. Now, I understand they're not run stuffers, but we'll have to see because it is the second year in the system again. And we just have to see. I think that they're aware. They watched the tape from last year. They know what they're doing and bringing guys in. I think we have to have some faith that they know what they're doing. If they get run on the first few games and the other team is just running up and down and we can't stop the run, then we know that they were wrong and they miscalculated, and we have a concern, not only about the team, but as in the coaching staff. Because then we're going to say, well, we were concerned. How did they not address this? So let's see how they do against the run in those first few games. It's going to be interesting. And if we do horrible, that is going to be a very big concern. Like it is going to create questions on, do they know what they're doing? Because we knew that we weren't a good against the run. Did they really address this? Now what? Now that guy from Cincinnati or left Cincinnati who failed his physical in Chicago, I never say his name right. Don't forget, he has not signed yet with anyone. So there's a chance we bring him in, and I think he's very good against the run. So we'll see what happens. I hope on Too Good News Fan plays even better. Yeah, we'll see. I like Fan a lot. I mean, he really stepped up. So this was Mr. Commander, if you're nasty. There should be a Hobbit Day. I might ask the Prime Minister about that. I always think it's so funny, like Prime Minister. So awkward. You don't like have a president or anything. It's like, I guess it's better than having a king. Let's leave this. No one could double team our D line this year. That's used for Q. JFM, Lawson, JJ. Q was dual triple team last year, and JFM had to play outside starting to. Yeah, look from pass rushing perspective, we're scary, but who's going to stop the run? I think is the big question that everybody's asking. I think that's the concern. But again, I trust our coaching staff. They don't seem concerned. I think that they thought about it. I think they have a plan. I don't think they're going in purposely into this season thinking that we can't stop the run. So we're just going to have to let it unfold and see what happens. Got some Triflow and spray in those hinges. I'm actually in Charlotte, my nephew's apartment, okay? Because we don't know the apartment well enough to make any plans of sneaking snacks around. That door. What door? That's not a door. That's like a cat toy thing. I don't know what you're talking about. Jacob Finnegan, what's up, my friends? Larry O. That's right, Larry O. That's right. Give me the like, guys. Give me the like. Come on. You know how the algorithm works. You need to like the video. You can't watch the video and not like it if you like it. I mean, if you don't like it, don't like it. But, you know what I mean? But if you like it, you got to like it. It's very simple. You just go, I think, you just go and hit that little like button. It's very, very, very simple. Edward Ziff. Last year, Zach was built like a big boy. This year, he's built like a big man. I like that analogy, Edward Ziff. That makes a lot of sense. And I agree with you. I saw that one picture, and it was a very looking different person. Like, if you look at the picture and look at his legs and look at, you could tell he added on a lot of muscle. He's also not a small guy. It's just that he has that baby face. If anybody who's good with a Mac and art and pick the Illustrator program or whatever. If you take Zach's head off of his body and you stick the head of any quarterback like Fitzpatrick. Maybe not Fitzpatrick because he got that big NBC meet David Letterman head. But if you take the head of, I don't know, Flacco and or just anyone, like take Patrick Mahomes' head. That might be awkward, but just take a head of another player, maybe Justin Herbert or whatever, and put it onto Zach Wilson's body, like right where the head's supposed to go. Like if you're really good at Photoshop. I don't know that you're going to think he's small or he's not like doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. I think it's just that he has such a baby face. But no question, man, he looks like he put on muscle. He focused. This guy's committed, man. He is so committed to this team and being a great player. Not only did he work out and put on tons of muscle, but he was traveling around. He was like meeting up with the different players and receivers. He's looking like he's really a very good team leader. He sets a great example. He wants to be great. I mean, it's and when anybody who wants to be great and willing to put in the time, and then when you look at the talent that he has, the arm talent and all that good stuff, it's exciting. It's exciting. There's no reason, like in my mind, that he can't succeed. But I did a video about it, and I think that it was a pretty obvious video, and I think most people wouldn't argue with it if you've been watching football. At the end of the day, Zach Wilson has to be able to slow the game down and process faster. And the good news is, if they're being honest, a lot of the word from camp, and not just from the Jets staff, but from the media, is that it looks like he's making faster decisions. That it looks like he's going through the progressions faster and making quicker decisions. Now, it's only practice, but it's a good thing to hear. It's better than hearing the media say, it looks like the same Zach as last year. It still looks like he's holding the ball too long. Like that stuff would be really hard to hear. So it's not that it means everything. Sometimes what you hear people saying is not good because it means so much that that you go overly crazy about it. Sometimes the best part about it is it's not the opposite. The fact that we're not listening to the fact that he's still holding the ball too long, or it doesn't, just simply that people are interpreting his play as he's making faster decisions is pretty freaking cool. And let's just hope that translates, all through camp and eventually into games. Because to me, that was the only thing he has left to do. If he's able to process and make quicker decisions, all the other elements are there, all the other components. And I really think the accuracy is going to be fine when all the other things are there. And he's just playing out of instinct and not overthinking. Because he has years of tape and evidence that he's accurate. It just doesn't magically go away. I have somebody who seems new to the chat. I don't know if you've been watching the channel, but it's the first time I've seen you comment on the chat. Aaron, I hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you like the content. If you do, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel so you'll get notified of other shows. Usually I have a lot of guests here. I'm alone tonight, but I'm not always alone. We have a lot of people, a lot of good panel, a lot of good discussion. As you can see, I involve the chat, so I hope you're having a good time. And if you are and you haven't yet, please subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, support the channel. That's all I ask. It's the best thing I could ask, but I'm only asking you to do it if you like the content. I would never ask you if you didn't. Braden, I assumed Yabo would be our fourth tight end, but Tigo reckons we only carry 3 and fullback Bowden. I thought we carried 4 tight ends and Bowden. What do you reckon? I reckon that Yeboah could be the 4th tight end the way Dan Brown was as the special teams / tight ends, and that Bowden could be on the team because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that happened last year. I think that last year we had Bowden on the team at some point. We added him to the team. We still had Yeboah. We had Kraft, whatever the hell his name was, Griffin, and who the hell else am I forgetting? So I thought we had that already. The other thing I think is that he could be put on the practice squad in the beginning, and then as soon as somebody gets hurt, because it's like we can't live in this world where we think everybody just stays healthy. Like someone on the roster will get hurt or miss a game for this reason or that reason. So, we have a 12-man, I think, or 16-man practice squad situation going. I don't think we have to worry about Yeboah getting poached because I don't think he did anything that would get him poached. And I haven't analyzed the numbers yet, Like, so right now I'm in we're going to keep them all. We're going to have 4 tight ends in Bowden or Bawden. But I don't know if that's realistic because I didn't look at the numbers yet. And what does that mean? What other room has to be made smaller? Like, so I don't know. I would have to, I'm going to have to write out the whole roster and count up 53 and see where the cuts would likely be. Tigo may have already done that, so I'm not going to argue what he's saying. But I kind of feel like, did we have Westcott, Croft, and Griffin, and we had Dan Brown. So we had 4. Dan Brown was playing special teams. We traded him and then got him back. But Yeboah came in for a while. And I don't know if that was because of injuries, but it feels like we had 4 tight ends, and we brought in Bawden. And we didn't cut Westcott when we did that, or Westco. But maybe there's a possibility that somebody was hurting on the IR, and that's why we were able to do it. I don't know. But I don't know, man. We're going to have to look at camp, but we haven't gotten up to the whole predictions of the 53-man roster yet. But I wouldn't necessarily assume that Yeboah was going to get cut. At worst, he'll be on the practice squad. I don't think he did anything to deserve to be cut. You know? Jeremy can sniff out new blood. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. I don't know why. You know, we'll see. One day, if the dream comes true, the dream comes true. I'm going to be more confident. One day, when I have 3,000 subscribers, we'll see if I'm still capable of sniffing out the new blood. It'd be interesting if I could. Weird question. Did anyone actually watch the exchange episode where they interviewed Zach? Zach got Sanchez a crap load of hot dogs and Mangold supplied the mustard packet. I did not see any of that, man. That's cool. I've been on vacation, so I'm behind on a lot of things. That's so funny. So he's good at putting mustard on hot dogs, but not anything else. Oh, man. Hey, guys, I kind of have to go. I didn't want to totally disappear on a Sunday. I am on vacation. And we were out to dinner and we just got back and everything. And I didn't want to just not exist because I know I've been missing a lot of time. So I wanted to just check in, talk a little bit about, talk a little Jet football. Have a good night, Larry. So that's why I came in and popped in. It's getting late here. My whole family is going to sleep and everything. I hate to leave right now. It seems like we're just getting going. But I wanted to just say hello to everybody, check in, let you know that I did put that picture up because I wanted everyone to know I had a great time, been having a great vacation, got to meet Green Bean. We met up in Richmond, Virginia. We had some awesome barbecue. It was fun to walk around with him. All he could keep saying was how tall I was, which I think is hysterical because I'm 5'11". I've never been referred to as tall so many times as Green Bean called me tall. In the short time that we had together. So I want to thank everybody who came in here. I want to say thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate the constant support. You guys give me so much support. It's just ridiculous. So, hey, come back when you can't stay so long. You're a funny guy, John. No, I'll be back. When's my next show? I'll be back on Wednesday for sure. And Wednesday, I'm definitely giving a full show. I don't care. My wife's going to have to deal with it. Everyone's going to have to deal with it. But anyway, take care, everybody. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you soon. I'll still be throwing out some videos in the next few days, so check it out. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, and good night, Dino. Good to see you too, buddy.